Hello everyone, it's me, Sierra, aka Natural Nefertiti, back with another video, baby. And today we're going to be continuing on with my Let's Talk Women's Health series. And today I'm going to be explaining my career, profession, what I'm studying right now, which is to become a midwife. So even, my own really close friends still struggle to understand what a midwife is in today's day and age. So I just wanted to come on here and kind of explain what midwives do, our history, and just talk about women's health. So if you're interested in this video, please stay tuned. Had to put my white coat on so you guys know I'm professional. I does this. Okay, so what is a midwife? A midwife is a women's health professional. So we are, if you've heard of an obstetrician gynecologist, which is what most people think of when they think women's health, we are similar to OBGYNs, but there are also a few key differences. Number one difference being training. So OBGYNs are medical doctors. They go to medical school for 4 years, and then they do an OBGYN residency, which is also usually 4 years. Then after their OBGYN residency, they can go on, do a fellowship, specialize in oncology, reproductive endocrinology, infertility, surgery, it runs the gambit. And so they are highly trained medical doctors that deal with, problems or issues, diseases of the reproductive tract of women throughout the lifespan. So from puberty through old age. Midwives, on the other hand, we are trained as nurses first and foremost. In order to be a certified nurse midwife, you first have to go to nursing school. So I went to Columbia University School of Nursing, and I got my Master of Science in Nursing, and then I took the NCLEX, and I became a registered nurse in the state of New York. Then I continued on into the doctoral program, so now I am in school to get my Doctor of Nursing Practice, specializing in midwifery, to become a certified nurse midwife. Then at the end of my schooling, I will take a board exam to become certified as a nurse midwife, and then I'll be able to get a job, yada, yada, yada. So first and foremost, medical doctor, nurse. Second big difference is, again, because OBGYNs are highly trained medical professionals, they also are surgeons as well. So OBGYNs, during their residency, they have many rotations, and they learn surgery. So they learn how to do C-sections, they learn how to do hysterectomies, they learn how to do oophorectomies, and all of the things that you can get surgery on in the reproductive tract, they learn how to do that. Nurses, because again, we are trained as nurses, we do not learn surgery at all. So we can assist an OBGYN in a surgery, but we are not surgeons. So again, because we do more basic level women's health, a little bit more advanced stuff, but for the most part it's basic women's health. So dealing with low risk to mid risk with collaboration women throughout the lifespan and during pregnancy, labor, and delivery as well. So we're not as specialized as OBGYNs. So for high risk women, or for more advanced disease processes, we are not going to be caring for those women. We may collaborate on some things, but for the most part, high risk and more advanced disease processes, you'll be seeing an OBGYN. So low risk women, normal problems like infections, vaginal itching and stuff like that, you can see a midwife for that. So I just definitely wanted to distinguish between an OBGYN and a midwife, because although we are both women's health professionals, again, highly trained medical doctor and certified nurse midwife is more not low level as in we are not as smart, but our training is different, and so we take two different tracks and can do two different things. In certain states, midwives can practice independently. In other states, we have to be in collaboration with a physician. So it just depends on state by state. But oftentimes you will see midwives and OBGYNs working in the same practice together, or OBGYN may hire a midwife to kind of like help with their workload, or they'll be on the same labor and delivery floor, you know, doing collaborating in independently providing care for patients. So you may often see them together, or you may see them separately, but we are not rivals. We are just, you know, we need each other in order to provide the best care for women. So I just wanted to go over that first, like training and how we're different. And there are more differences, but I'm not an OBGYN, so I'm not an expert on what exactly all they can do. And I am not a fully practicing midwife yet. So again, I can't run the gambit of everything that a midwife can do. But those are just like basic level, like how we are different and how we are trained differently. So why are, you know, midwives just like popping up out of nowhere? Like a lot of people have never heard of a midwife. They didn't even know midwives existed in this country. They thought this was something that was, you know, 50, 60 years ago or 70 years ago even. But the history of midwifery is like, you know, since the beginning of time, people have been using, obviously, midwives. Like people have been giving birth since the beginning of time, and before there was even such a thing as a medical doctor, there were midwives who were trained, like lay people trained, you know, like, or like village people, like village women who just like had this knowledge of pregnancy and childbirth and women's care, and were with women. That's literally what midwife means, with women, during their reproductive age times, and helping them, you know, through that time. And specifically in this country, like midwifery has a long history because especially in the South, like granny midwives, which were like black women, were birthing white and black children. And rooted in slavery, granny midwives were the people that you know, went to for healthcare and for birth. And after kind of like the invention of the hospital system, we're talking like early 20th century, and like medical doctors like taking more power over healthcare in this country, they wanted birth to move to the hospital. So you see the beginning of the medicalization of pregnancy, and they began to kind of like discredit and disenfranchise midwives because of like racial undertones of like, you have these like black women who are like the authority over birth and like women's health, and then you have white medical doctors who are saying, no, you need to come to a hospital. They don't know what they're doing. You're gonna die if you go to a midwife, etc., etc. So, starting then, you would, like, women would literally like go to jail if they were practicing as a midwife, instead of these women being seen by medical doctors. So, kind of beginning in like the early to mid 20th century, you see a very sharp decline in home births and a rapid influx of people going to the hospital because they think it's safer to birth there. And now, starting, I want to say in the 60s, with like the free love and like hippie movement, we've been seeing a steady increase in the popularity and the availability of midwives, midwifery schools, accreditation bodies, and certification of midwives. So it's definitely something that's gaining more momentum, and a lot of women are becoming more interested in being seen by midwives because of the reputation that we have as being good providers. And this is not to say that OBGYNs are not good providers, because OBGYNs are amazing providers. But midwives are also good providers, and it's just becoming more popular as people learn more about us. So I think it's really important, especially as a Black woman, to reclaim the history in the history that midwifery has in this country, and how it is rooted in the work of Black women who did not get credit for literally birthing the future of America. And so as a Black woman, you know, I think of, you know, those granny midwives, like many who we don't even know their names, who kind of paved the way for not only modern gynecology, but paved the way for me to be standing here talking to you guys, talking about my future career. So shout out to Black women. And I think we need to, again, as Black people, reclaim birth work. I have this wonderful shirt on. It says decolonize birth work, because we Black women, Hispanic women of color, Native women, we are the ones who are, you know, dying on hospital beds because our providers aren't listening to us, and because of the racism and the stress that we go through every day of our lives. And we're the women who are 3 to 4 times more likely to die in pregnancy, in postpartum period. In New York City alone, you know, some statistics say that we're 12 times more likely to die than a white woman in pregnancy. And it's because we need more providers that look like us, who know what we go through every day, and who see us, who hear us, and who listen to us, and who take our problems seriously. And so I am extremely proud to be in a profession like this. I'm extremely proud to be reclaiming this profession, and I cannot wait for all of my friends who are practicing as OBGYNs right now, who want to be OBGYNs, who want to be midwives, who want to be doulas, who want to be any health profession. And I am so proud that we are melanating the birth workforce, because no more Black women need to die in this country from something as normal as giving birth and bringing new life into this world. So getting a little emotional, but I'm extremely happy to be in this profession, and I just want more people to know like what midwives do, and that we're here, and that you can come to us, and it's safe. And yeah, so that brings me to my next topic. What is a midwife? What do we do? So midwives can see women or persons with a female reproductive tract, so uterus, ovaries, vagina, etc., who need some health care. So from puberty all the way through old age, we can see throughout the lifespan. And we do annual exams, pap smears, STI testing, birth control counseling, infections, preconception care, pregnancy care, labor, delivery, postpartum care, perimenopausal women, menopausal women, a whole range of things exist in our scope of practice. And just on an average day, like I'm in clinical right now, just on an average day, I do a ton of annual exams, ton of pap smears, STI testing, doing, you know, referring people out to get their mammograms and to get bone density scans, and birth control, IUDs, implants, the pill, breastfeeding education, postpartum care, prenatal care. Like, we do so much in just in one day. And so that's just like kind of an example of like how anything that you need to see that involves your reproductive tract and in your breasts, you can come to a midwife. And so I just wanted to come on here and share a little bit more about my chosen career path and what I'm doing outside of just like hair and makeup and travel, because I am very passionate about what I do. That's why I started this series, and I just think that it needs to be talked about more, because you know, we go to the doctor's office and we tell our doctor like what's going on in our life, and then once we leave the doctor, we don't talk about or we hardly ever talk about women's health. And so I just want to make it more like dinner table talk. Like, let's talk about our vaginas. Let's talk about our uteruses. Let's talk about our ovaries and what's going on in our body. And let's just make it, you know, something that we don't have to be ashamed of. And let's talk about our periods and how we're bleeding. And let's talk about how we want to be on birth control, or we don't like the birth control we're on, or we love our birth control. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about tampons. Let's talk about it all. And so this is what this series is for, and I just wanted to come on and like create a safe space and like ask questions. So yeah, if you have any questions about midwives, what we do, and anything, leave them in the comment section. Let's have a conversation. And I really hope you guys are enjoying this series, and I look forward to making some more videos. And hopefully next video I'll be bringing on my friend who is an OBGYN, and we can talk more about the differences between us, how we collaborate, work together, etc. So yeah, until next time, see you guys later.